Tom and Gerry Show is sponsored by findavenue.ie.
For over 10 years, findavenue.ie has been working in the Dublin area, helping thousands of companies with all their venue needs. From corporate parties to away days, training seminars, conferences, summer barbecues to Christmas parties. The lot.
As a pair of comedians who know what it's like when the wrong venue gets booked for the wrong occasion, we can assure you that findavenue.ie is the go-to service when you're looking for a venue for your upcoming event. Simply contact them at findavenue.ie and they'll do the rest, saving you precious time and hassle.
Best of all, findavenue.ie is absolutely free to use.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you now, with findavenue.ie, free means free. No hidden costs or sneaky charges, all backed up with an incredible team offering you great customer service throughout the whole process. If you need a venue for anything from corporate day out to a quiz night, a gala dinner, or even a virtual event, findavenue.ie is your one-stop shop for all.
Head over to findavenue.ie to see how they can help you with your next event.
Thanks again to this week's sponsor for the Tom and Gerry Show, findavenue.ie.
We're playing a game of chicken here, Tom. See who'll talk first. Who'll introduce this Tom and Gerry Show?
I was going to, and I went, no, do you know, I know what he's up to now. He's just staring me out of it on screen for the audio.
That could have went on for a long time. That could have been an hour, just the two of us staring at it all, because one's as thick as the other.
I would have just left the backing track play. Just let it play. Just
the listeners will be like, wow, this week's episode is slight on content. But no, we introduced it. How are you doing? I'm Gerry McBride. That is my good man over there, Mr. Tom O'Mahony. You're very welcome along to this week's Tom and Gerry Show.
What's the crack, everybody? Gerry, I'm sweating. I don't know about you, but there's no good.
It's desperate.
We had a go about shorts a couple of episodes back, and I did everything in my power. I'm not wearing them now, but I did everything in my power, but I broke yesterday. It was that humid. I had found myself in a pair of shorts. But that's not my big issue. A big issue right now. I'd no sooner gotten rid of the crows out of my garage. Put up garage doors. Put up garage doors, Gerry. Crows were like, if they had middle fingers, they were sticking them up at me.
They're like, which side are we supposed to be on this?
Oh, fuck all these animals. Like right now, like they just have so many trees to live in, and these crows just decided, nah, we're having this garage, and we're gonna shite all over his floor. Got rid of them. Happy day Friday. Turned up yesterday on Saturday to show herself the new garage door. She was delighted, but she went, what are them wasps doing? Christ above. Christ. So the crows had obviously been keeping away the wasps.
There's nothing good in the country that has wings, Tom.
No.
Maybe a turkey, and maybe that's even pushing it.
The only thing I have time for is that hawk, and it just eats mice. There's a pair of hawks, and they eat mice, and I'm down for that. I'm like, good on you. Good on you. But anything with wings in the countryside is just a bastard. These wasps now, and I filled the gap with expanded foam that they're trying to get into. I went up there today. These demonic wasps have started eating the foam. They started eating it and chucking it out. Lads.
Delighted with themselves. Thanks for the honeycomb. Thanks for the crunchy.
I will literally burn this new garage to the ground, down to the foundations to get rid of you. And that's where I'm. This will end up being that, like that Mr. Bean movie with where he was after with the bee. This will be where you'll find me next week. Not even
yes.
I'll have broken these wasps. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Sweaty.
That's where you're at. You blew past the summer there a little bit. We're recording now on a particularly humid evening. It's not all that warm out there, but it's like breathing through a wet towel. It's like being interrogated.
Yeah,
by the boys in Abu Ghraib or one of these places. This is that's what I'm likening this fine summer's evening to.
To be fair, we don't go over the top here or exaggerate at all. Do you know, Gerry's 100% right. No. This is exactly what it's like now.
This is exactly, we're getting waterboarded just walking around the place.
I mean,
and the killing thing about it is for the listeners of the
Guantanamo Bay. That's what it's like around here. It's just
Guantanamo Bay.
Guantanamo Bay.
I'll tell you one thing, the listeners, they don't know because like both of us have our little home setups.
Yeah.
If you're following the clips on social media, you know what both of our setups look like. And we can't have a fan going in either of them because all you'll hear on the mic is hum the whole time and you won't hear our dulcet tones. So we're suffering for our art, Tom, don't you know?
Be like that drone that was hanging around outside your window, or the silage tractors that are hanging around outside my window, or the cow that continuously
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah, or the
ah.
or the crows or the bees or the wasps that we're giving out about now, Tom. I swear to God, it's just a non-stop fight against a buzz.
It'd be that's this stage would be just easier to call around to each individual listener's house and just redo the podcast over and over in a quiet scenario so they can enjoy it without any of these outside distractions.
It's a hell of a way to break the listenership figures to me, Tom. But at any rate,
Come on,
we do it
we got at
willingly.
least
We
four
do it
stops.
willingly.
We got at least four stops to make. And one of them is my mother's house.
Well, I'll tell you one thing before we launch on any further, Tom. Woe was me again. These are all first world problems. It's too warm and my phone is kind of broken, right? My phone's broken in the most annoying fashion, Tom.
Ah, it's not like me. The charger yo keeps on filling up with sawdust, does it?
No, although that is griping now, I will say. No, I dropped it and I kind of chipped the bottom left-hand corner of it. All right.
The
Are you with
tiny bit
me?
of windscreen, yeah, and that's it all gone because it's all lives in the
It's
windscreen,
no,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind if that was I wouldn't mind if that was that, but what it's done, right? It's made about a quarter of an inch all the way down the left side dead.
yeah,
You with me?
yeah.
So and
I've been
you're
there.
trying to you're there on the alphabet. The keyboard comes up and you're trying to type and you're trying to type the Q, but
Yeah,
the Q is too far over to the left
or the P.
and that
Yeah,
bit's
yeah,
dead.
yeah, yeah.
Do you see what
Oh,
I'm saying?
sorry, the left. So A and Z are gone as
On
well.
the
Yeah,
left. So it's like until I get it fixed or until I just muscle through it, I can't use the letter Q. There are certain things I can't reply to a tweet with a picture because that icon is too far over to the left. I
I
can't put
had
a hyphen
noticed
in anything. That icon's too.
this evening's voice note was extraordinarily long, and I was like, "What? This is like a man who's been bursting to write something to me for a while, and you just had to say loads to me in that time." I was like, "Oh," but that clearly makes that makes sense. You would have sounded like you'd
Oh,
had it.
no, yeah, I'm having Tom, and you can go back through the messages. I sent Tom a message there. Said I'll be ready to podcast now in about 20 minutes. I would have been ready in 10. I just couldn't press the one.
You could do the slash and do underneath it to have it. No,
I could
okay.
yeah, maybe I
Yeah, I
could have
wouldn't have
said,
gotten that
yeah,
either.
probably could have said 9:59 minutes will get us.
Jeez,
But
yeah,
we're here now. But again, it's just one of these things where technology lets us down, and it doesn't
we
let us down, Tom. I dropped the phone many times on the
we
ground,
are like
face
you said,
first.
first world problems. Here you're cribbing about your smartphone. Here's me cribbing about my new house. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yes, you're right, listeners. Shut up, and let's get on into the podcast for crying out loud.
Let's get on into the show. Let's get
Mm.
on into the show. Yes, I agree, Tom. Let's launch into the first segment of the show, and it's the first weekly what have you I want to say of the summer, Tom, but that's what we call this segment because this segment takes place with all the shenanigans of the week, you know. What was the big noise that happened this week? What was the brouhaha, Tom? You know what it is. What's the weekly what have you?
This is a very complicated case, Mod. You know, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous, and a lot of strands to keep in my head, man. You know.
The weekly, what have you? And I mean, there's so many starts to summer. We started the summer, I think, a couple of weeks back. But for
We started
younger,
barbecue season. We started barbecue season
we
a couple
did
of weeks back, and that was
officially.
barbecue season. But that wasn't technically the start of the summer.
No, because the summer means nothing to us as older people, really. You're just like, well, that's when I get a bit sweaty. That's when the midges try and bite me. But as a
Exactly.
child, it is a very definitive thing. Like that, well, the summer only actually starts now. And your kids, I'm guessing, are on holidays. My young fella started holidays the other day. But I say that his life is a holiday. Like his
Life is a holiday. My kids, Thomas, got to be said. That's the weekly what have you this week. It is the official start of the school summer holidays. Leaving cert is, I would imagine, over unless you're doing Japanese or music or something like that. Latin, you know, Incan,
yeah,
Mayan scripture, whatever it is, for an extra couple of points to do veterinary science in
in
DCU or
Cardiff.
wherever it is you
In
do it.
Cardiff, because you wouldn't have gotten it in Dublin because,
But these are the last. All kids. By the time you folks hear this podcast, my kids will be on their summer holidays, and that has to be it because my kids were left to last to go on their summer holidays. So we said we'd take a look back at summer holidays as kids, because we have summer holidays now, Tom, but it's a week here, a week there, going here for an hour or two. Not what the kids have, Tom, which is like 8 to 9 weeks, just straight doing nothing.
Nothing. Nothing. As they'd say out west, all day for doing nothing and all day for doing it. Like, we were talking beforehand, and I don't have any famous five Enid Blyton memories of my childhood when it comes. I don't actually really remember our family going. All I remember is the outlet continuously working. I don't remember really going on any holidays. I think we went to France once.
Honestly, like when you think about it now, and I'm not going to be like kids these days, but we didn't have a summer camp, Tom. There wasn't a summer camp where you went to for every morning, which was basically school, but maybe with GAA sports or
We did
archery and things.
we did have, and it was about 4 days, I think, 3 days maybe in the entire summer once. And my long abiding memory of it, even as a tiny child, was going, this seems very disorganized. There does seem to be more order at home. Dad, and to their credit, copious amounts of chickadees. Do you remember chickadees?
I'll tell you one thing: chickadees and tip tops will paper over a lot of cracks
And
in a
that's
childhood.
there you go. I mean, it could have been 3 days of utter neglect, but top of my pile in my memory was the chickadees were never ending, as far as I remember.
The walls of my mind palace are plastered with stinger bars, Tom.
The walls of your Babylon shaped mind palace, stinger bars, and postman patch sweets.
But I gotta tell you one. I gotta tell you one thing that became a bit of a tradition when we broke from primary school, and I seem to remember now, and I could be wrong. 'Cause we want to say this up front, ladies and gentlemen. In some instances, these memories are 40 years old,
God,
easily 35.
yeah, primary
Some
school
pushing for.
about 30, 37, I would say, at the earliest memory of primary school.
Yeah,
Yeah, good
yeah. I'm
God, yeah.
44 now, come the end of the year, and I gotta be honest with you, Tom. I think there was shenanigans about me going to school. I can't get a straight answer as to when I started school. I really can't. I genuinely can't.
Was it a rolling start? Like, oh shit,
I think it was a roll
October.
start. I honestly think I did baby infants
Shit.
twice.
We should have.
Like just, and I can't get a straight answer out of anybody. Did I do baby infants twice? Oh well, maybe. What kind of answer is that? Did I or didn't I?
I
Not
don't.
for like
I honestly, because
he
I
was
get
so
those.
stupid he went to baby infants twice. It was just like they let him go in 6 months early and then kept him for another 6 months the other side. Or I skipped baby infants altogether. I can't get a straight answer on any of this.
I wouldn't hold it against them because I can't get a straight answer on anything to do with me under the age of like 12, really.
Right.
Because not that I think they're hiding it from me, I just don't think they bank those memories. Like now, heaven forbid, our kid gets a new pair of shoes, we have to take a photograph of it. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
the-
Yeah.
like my wife's parent family were good for taking photographs back in the day. In good, they'd take 4 a year. Whereas
Right.
I honestly, I barely existed. The first time I saw myself, it's the most I must send it on to you. It was our American cousins had come over with a video camera in the early 80s.
God damn.
And that was like, I knew I existed back then, but I didn't really know I exist until I saw myself in video camera being, I might add, the most confident. I can't wrap my head around the level of cockiness.
It was always with you, Tom.
But even
But
now,
you're,
I'm like,
but
who's this bloke?
I gotta tell you, like, I can't be the only person. Like, I reckon there's a whole generation of Irish kids that got to about the age of like 12 or 13 and were convinced uphill and down dale that they've been adopted.
Ah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
like, is there any pictures of me before the age of 5? Not really. Oh, well, like, what can you tell me about my first day at school? Fuck all. All right.
Yeah. 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 100% you were dropped off because I was number 3 at that stage. So it's like, all right, what are we
Yeah.
doing here? What are we doing here? In he goes. But yeah, I remember on the school holidays, we had a thing. There was one on the last day. There was obviously because teachers, just wanted to bust out the fags and whatnot. They didn't want to do no teaching. So we were encouraged to bring in sweets. It was the only time you were ever allowed to bring in sweets. And I
The
can
last
remember,
day was a sweet day, yeah.
and because my old one she shopped in Clonmel oddly, instead of Tipperary Town, which would have been much closer. I don't know why she
Yeah.
shopped there. I think there was just more options or whatever. She had worked there one time. She was able to get Country Spring, which you couldn't get in a 3 liter, the marshmallow flavored one. Do you remember there was one that was it was clear lemonade, but it was like, what did they call it,
It
Gerry?
was cream soda.
Cream soda. That's it.
Yeah.
And it would
Cream soda, yeah.
it was at the time for sure full of carcinogens and stuff, but the kind of good gear that would send a bunch of 4 and 5 and 6 year olds out the yin,
Oh,
like
on a rocket to the
mental.
moon, Tom.
But and it was a 3 liter bottle, so everybody got some. So that was I was the hype man. I was basically the drug dealer at the time. Sweet, we all had built up some sort of immunity to like stingers and Dan bars, but only once in a blue moon would a man land in with a 3 liter
Yeah.
of cream soda and blow all our skulls and clear out the sides of our head, going berserk. And thankfully, it's a country school, so we had 4 acres to run. It was handy for them.
Nice.
They could just let us off in the high grass and just go
Just
have,
go.
have
Yeah.
at it, kid. Have at it. We'll be mowing this
Yeah.
down for bales next week.
I do remember one thing we did, Tom. There was one came to be a tradition, and I think it only started. I think the first time I would have done it was the last day of school before the summer. I think when I would have been in maybe third or fourth class, because I remember we did it 2 or 3 years after the fact. It was sort of like we'll do that on the last day of school, sort of a thing. On the road leading to air school, which we walked, there was no buses.
Yeah. Well, no, we had a bus. We had a bus, all right. Now I say that, but it was an ex-Dublin City bus. And I mean ex by about 30 years. This thing, you'd have seen
Right.
you'd have seen the like of it in Last of the Summer Wine, if you'd get me.
Yeah, just
It had a lot of
no
chrome,
engine. It
Gerard.
just rolled down a hill.
A lot of chrome trim, from the 70s. You're like, this is a very, even as a youngster, I was going, this is a retro looking piece of shit bus. But
This
okay.
is shiny as hell. On the road leading up to air school, there were, of course, ditches, Tom, okay? And this is not some, hedge school crack. This was like a school on a road, on a primary route that had ditches beside it, all right? Don't
Yep.
be slagging me about it. And in the ditches, there grew weeds, ragwort, Tom. You know, that sort of like heavy stalked, yellow flowered, sometimes white country weed.
Yeah.
Which would be in full bloom in the summer, and it lined the route the whole way up and down the road, about maybe a quarter mile of it.
We call it
I don't know
boucalons around
who.
here for some reason. It's the Irish for ragwort is boucalons.
Ragwort, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who was the first person to suggest it, but someone said, let's pull all that and throw it on the road.
Yeah. I get that. I get it.
And 100 or so kids, 80 to 100 kids, that was the whole school, by the way. That was everybody from baby infants to six, was like maybe 80 to 90 kids. Just started pulling handfuls of ragwort out of the ditch and throwing it on the road until it was like a foot deep on the road, and cars had to slow down to drive through it. And we pulled every grain of that out of the ditch and onto the road. And it was one of the best cracks I ever had in my life.
But do you know why you were pulling it? Will I tell you why you were pulling it?
Oh, it was mob mentality at this stage. Someone said, let's do it, and we did it.
But why it became a thing? Like, you must pull ragwort.
Was that a thing elsewhere? I thought that was just a thing we did.
We didn't have it much growing in the ditches, but I know that if it's growing anywhere, you got to be pulling it. Like, you can't, like, you can get fined, Gerry. It can blow, the flowers that can blow into your field, you can get fined for having that growing in your field. So you have to, and you can't cut it. For anybody wondering, it's got tiny little yellow flowers on the top, and it's a tough old rooty thing. It can grow like 4 or 5 feet tall, like some of them.
What?
Because we used to get, I'll never forget it. It was a 20-acre field. Myself and my brother pulled every stalk of it, and we got 20 pounds each. I was maybe 8 or 9. He was probably 6. Took us a couple of days, but we got 20 pounds each for pulling it. Because this shit, if left unattended, you see what it is, it'll get baled into the hay. Cows, poisons cows.
And it's poisonous, yeah.
Yeah, it's poisons cows.
More on that work in a second, Tom, but I got to tell you, we weren't pulling it out of benevolence. You know what I mean?
No,
we
but
weren't
I
pulling it to be helpful to the neighborhood.
It was in you genetically, or some kid knew it was a bad thing at the top, but thought it'd be still fun to pull it because I've pulled this stuff before, and you all went, well, that looks like devilment.
Well, I got to tell you, Tom, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't want to say you're wrong, but we got given out to for doing this by the grown-ups who told us don't do it again, and we did it again the next year and the next year after that. And then I think we got a school bus.
Do you know what? That was your dirty protest.
I waited the second time round wasn't it? The first time was just great crack. The second time, and I waited a whole year. I cannot wait for one whole year till I pull every one of those goddamn weeds
Yeah.
out of the hedge, and went at it awful and very hard, Tom, the second year, and it just wasn't the same. So like, yeah, that's Paul days up. I was like, yeah, you want to go home? Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, no, I get. I actually get you see the wild, rebellious, frothing fervor, the
Yeah,
spell that you were under of naughtiness at that time. It had passed.
it
Do
had
you know
passed.
what? It's just as well ye hadn't something else, like some poor woman wasn't growing like prize winning
Oh,
petunias or
prize
something.
roses.
You would have
Oh,
fucked
they'd
them
be coming
across.
up, Tom.
Yeah, you would have fucked them out across the road. Jesus Christ. As far as everything else, as time progressed for me, it was into work. It was working, and I think that's why
Well,
when I
that's what I wanted to say to you, Tom. That's what I wanted to say to you when you mentioned yourself and himself pulling all the ragweeds there. Did you do that in the summer? Because this is what I want to say. My
yeah
kids are shaping up for a summer of. There's a couple of summer camps and a couple of things like this, and it's just in days where it doesn't bounce. Like okay, I know
yeah
I'm going to be working there, and so on and so forth. So they're going to go into a camp, and it's just going to say it what it is. It's more school for them, and it's
yeah
somewhere to send them and get them out of the. Other than that, now there's going to be minimal anything done by any of them. They're ready to chill out and have a nice summer and play and do all that sort of crack. Tom, I want to say when we were their age or thereabouts, there was an element of work to a summer.
we did. Of course, there was because what a lot of people don't realize, especially in the countryside, shit got to be done, and not just
Shit's got to
done
be
for you
done.
in the like. You'll hear, I'm no doubt, city or urban people will scoff, going, "Well, done for what? For you cultures just rolling around?" No, to feed the country. In the long run, that's where the basis of
Yeah,
work
you're
in the country.
welcome.
In the country, it starts with. We don't eat all the cows and sheep and pigs that are grown here, or all the vegetables that are grown here. They get sent to the city, and we hang on to some. But you gotta put the kids working because they're a pair of hands, pair of legs. Get after it. I don't care.
And
And
you don't put them working uh doing accountancy for you,
no, you what they're put on this earth to do. You're a tiny monkey.
which
You're
is
going.
small menial tasks that they couldn't do wrong, really.
I don't know. Like, yeah, but you're
And
going to.
I had a couple of them, Tom. You've already said you were pulling ragweed in the field,
Yeah, you can't go wrong there. You're
getting
either pulling
paid
it.
for it, Tom, which I must say must have been nice, sir.
Yeah, that's why it's still in my memory, Gerry. That's why it's still in my memory. Getting paid.
Yeah,
Now I'm not getting into secondary school because by secondary school I was PAYE by then. I was paying my way at that
yeah,
stage. But in primary school, no, you were just rounded up when bales, youngsters around were just rounded up when bales. This right about now, in the next couple of weeks, when July is when you cut your hay and it'll be down, and you're just rounded up because they didn't do the big shredded wheat looking roundy things that people see nowadays that only tractors can
yeah,
pick up. They were the square bales, the hold down, sitting around the barn dance with square bales. So you were everybody, family members, everybody was just rounded up because
yeah.
you got to get him in before it pisses rain. You got to get him up on the.
It sounds real Amish, but like, who's going to do it for you? You know what I'm saying?
Listen to
Yeah,
the Saw Doctor song, Daddy, Can I Go Up on Top? I swear to God, I'd
yeah.
be careful. Bailing, bailing.
No, get down to that. Man, that was it. The summer holidays was a big time to be told get down from that. You mentioned you got paid £20 to pull ragwort, Tom. I got paid nothing my whole youth life, apart from one time when a man gave me £2 coins for helping him to slate his roof. I might
Actually,
have been 9.
I tell a lie. There was one other time. It was a one-eyed man called Jimmy from back the road. One of the nicest fellas you'd ever meet. Paid myself and my brother. Now I'm gonna say I was 11 or 12 at best. He 3 years
Right.
younger to take the sheet iron off. We didn't know if there was going to be asbestos. What we were doing up on this roof.
There might have been.
Sheet iron, whether it was asbestos, but it turns out it was just thatch that was gone to pure dust. That's probably after
All
shortening my
right.
life.
Okay. Yeah.
We
So
pulled off.
just disgusting rather than outright dangerous.
Yeah. So could have fallen off, could have fallen through at any point. Didn't happen. What we did when he called back, because he worked in the local pig farm, which I went on to work with him afterwards. But we found a bottle of that should have gone into a museum, Jerry, in the thatch, hidden in the
Right.
thatch. It could have been 50, 60 years. An old bottle of uncorked Bulmer cider in a proper big bottle. It was a cool thing. It should have gone to a museum. We showed it to One-Eyed Jimmy. He was like, nice. Uncorked it and drank it on this.
No.
Oh, there's a reason why he's One-Eyed Jimmy. You take, you pull the trigger on moments and, and there you have it in life. He survived. He survived.
Like, tell me, he could have started drinking that, and next thing you just hear it splashing on the ground underneath him after it burnt a hole straight down through him.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you,
One-Eyed Jimmy
Jerry.
was willing to take that.
Some people are made of different stuff. That's all I'll tell you. And we got paid. We got paid between us. He gave us £50. Now it took us over a week to do. He gave us £50 to do that. So we were rolling it. I mean, okay, there's probably 4 years in the difference between the rag work job and that job, but
But Tom,
sticks out in my
I'm
memory,
just
Jerry.
listening to you now here. You're £70 up. I got paid nothing to do the one job that I absolutely hated more than anything else on this goddamn earth. More than anything else that I've ever been asked to do. And think of the umbrella that covers, Tom. And that's picking stones.
It's a stone picking. Carry on. Don't. And here's the thing, Jer. I'm going to have to do it in my own place above.
Right?
Yeah. I unpaid for myself, but I'm going to have to pick stones in my own place above.
And I've picked potatoes. I've picked raspberries and strawberries and all that kind of thing on a fruit farm. When it comes to picking stones, people might be looking at you, listen to this now, going like, "What do you mean picking stones? What do you mean like picking stones? Is it like picking stones like you would pick potatoes, just picking stones out of the ground?" Yeah, that's pretty much it.
For a handful of
Why?
reasons. Well, there's wise because you want to grow a crop of some sort on it, and it's fucking full of
Right.
stones. But it may be like my one, the one I have at the minute. It's a pretty virgin field, as I say. It's not a lot has ever been done with it. What it actually has is a lot of former castle stones, small little square castle stones dotted all over, which will make something cool in the end. But I'd sooner not have to fucking do it. But anyway, or somebody has plowed and rolled a field for something new, or harrowed a field, and all they've done is pull up all the fucking stones. And back nowadays, they have a thing called a stone barrier jar, which is like little blades that'll actually push the stone back into the ground. No, you were the stone collector back in your day, back in my day.
How did you do it, Tom? Did you do it forward facing or back facing? Because there were two ways about it, okay? A tractor would pull up in front of you with a transport box, and you walk slowly behind it and pick stones. And if you're listening to this going like, but there's an infinite number of stones in the ground. You can't pick every stone out of the ground.
You can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you, do your best to pick every stone your wee eyes can see. And whoever's asking you to do it will still come along and go like, you missed one. I missed a stone in an acre of ground.
But you know yourself, Gerry, you would see a stone the size of your thumb. If this place was cleaned pretty good, you'd see a stone the size of your thumb from 150 yards away. You would. You go, oh, Christ. I'm not walking back.
But even at that, I mean, what do you want? I think I did all right for what's been done here. Any rate, there's two ways you could do it, Tom. You could walk stooped over, okay, bend 90 degrees at the waist. Remember our health and safety from a couple of weeks ago? Bend 90 degrees at the waist and pick a stone and throw it in front of you into the transport box. Or you could bend 90 degrees at the waist and walk forward and throw them backwards, American football style, sort of like hike, throw them backwards into a transport box that was sort of slowly inching its way towards you from behind. Which one did you do?
My one was typically forward, but what I had developed, and if you had copied me, was I'd take my jumper and tie it around my waist and have it flap forward instead of flap. If you tied it around, you typically flap.
I get you. Yeah.
And I'd hold it with my left hand out, and you get a good shot at little stones in there. And then I could step forward every maybe 20 stones and dump them into the transport box. So that was my typical. From what? Geez, we are rooting up some old memories.
We call that the apple picking scenario.
Yeah. People are listening to this, Jared, going, how have these two cave people? But do you know what? I had no thought, good, bad, or indifferent, of what this was as a child, because I didn't know of other. I had that and maybe the kids on television. You're going, sure, they must be picking stones in the summer as well, are they? But
Yeah, they're
I'll never.
picking they're picking stones in Summer Bay. Just right off camera, we can't see it.
There was a kid in the last place we lived. There was a kid. We had ridiculously posh neighbors when we lived up in Enniskerry, like people who actually were from Ireland, but they spoke with these accents. If you know,
Mm.
Gerry, you can't see Jerry's face, right? But he looks like he's just eaten a Denbar or a Stinger or a Roy of the Rovers mode. His face is turning inward on itself, like the vacuum has been stuck on the back of his head as I did that accent. But these are Irish people who are very proud to be from the
Irish.
area. And I'll never forget looking out the window on this field beside us that was going to be developed as, I don't know what the hell they were planning on doing. And they're going to put a horse paddock in there or some shit. And I see
Mm.
this skinniest kid, palest looking thing one day outside in the field. And I went, all right, thinking it was some rapscallion of some sort. And here he was just
Yeah.
arsing around in the high grass. And he goes, hello. I went, that's an accent. I'm like, all right. He went, and I won't say the woman's name, but if you can imagine the most ludicrously posh British owl one's name, pick it. And that's it, right? And I get, she stands up and goes, I'm Bleep's nephew. I'm here to pick. And I swear on my life, this went it was like it was just two societies colliding at two different age
Yeah, yeah,
points in their
yeah.
life. But I had never met this kid. I'd never met this kid when I was a kid. Because if I had,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
God help him. But he stood up and he went, I'm pulling ragwa. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. You're what? I'm pulling ragwa. And
Well,
my
here's the
missus
thing,
standing
Tom, right?
behind me going, he means ragworth. Ragworth, Tom. Bukalons, as we used to call them down our way. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And the poor son of a bitch, Jer, he had the pulling power of a wet sock. Like
Well,
this
this
poor
is what
kid,
I
he
want to
had
say.
no power.
This is what I want to say. I would imagine, so from my stone picking days 35 years ago, let's be generous, okay, that would put me at like 9 or 10. I would imagine that there are people who were party to that 35 years ago that still to this day would say, McBride, Jordan McBride. Yeah, no, yeah, not much of a work with that fella, based on how many stones I picked as a 9-year-old in a
Yeah.
field in baking hot summer weather. And
Yeah.
you know this whole notion of like, oh, you're out in the hot sun, you got to keep hydrated. There was no
No,
hydration in the
I
80s, Tom.
I see
No, they
kids
didn't leave a
nowadays.
bottle of mineral out for you.
My young fella
Come
going
round at
around.
1 o'clock with one for
He's
you to share, maybe.
he's never off. Like they're all his friends have all their little sports bottles with him. They're swigging out of it all day long. I'm going, I don't think I drank a bottle of water from the age of 0 to 20. Like, I don't
No,
think there was no hydration whatsoever. It was
no
you licked your
hydration
own
whatsoever,
sweat
right?
that came down your
That was
your
it.
upper lip.
Yeah, and be damn near chastised for not doing a good enough job picking stones. Why are you not picking them stones, right? I don't want to pick stones. Stick 'em up your arse. And there are others that would be listening to this podcast, Tom, that perhaps didn't pick stones, but they probably did something like foot and turf on the bog, Tom, which I personally never did.
No,
We
we didn't
weren't,
have bogs
we
around
weren't,
here.
no, we weren't turf footing on the bog people. That
No.
wasn't us.
Well, hell
We
again.
didn't burn
Hell,
turf in the house, truth be known.
hell on earth again.
Which
Terra.
I'm sure was a stoop over hell on earth, as you just said. Yeah.
I mean, you look out over it and it's Mordor. You know what I mean? I felt
Yeah.
bad for any of those lads. Midgies live there because you're literally digging them out of the soil.
Yeah.
And
Fresh midgies with every turn. And like, we were like, maybe I don't have it so bad picking stones or setting quicks or whatever the hell it was we were doing.
yeah, it was a rough gig by the sounds of things when I talked to lads that had to do that shit. Like, but it was the thing is too, you're just treated like a smaller man. You're not actually. They're not going. This will be good for his morale and his team building, and
No,
you're doing it because it's got to be done. That's it. I mean, like
I don't
that
even
kid
think you're,
pulling.
I don't even think you're, I don't think you're looked at as a smaller man, Tom. I think you're looked at as more like a steerable cow.
Yeah, sorry, you're definitely not being looked at as a child. Oh, he's a
No,
child.
it's like, oh, look what I can get this goat to do.
Yeah,
They listen.
yeah, yeah. So that's
Do you know what I'm
Ragwad.
not hearing in all this, Tom? You know what I'm not hearing in the middle of all this? Is I'm not hearing any Brian Adams Summer of '69 best days of my life shit. Do you know what I mean?
There is no Kid Rocks sitting out by the Michigan Lake, singing, smoking funny things, and
Wow.
no, nothing.
And I hear sometimes like people talk about, wow, those endless summer days. It's like, remember those summer days as a kid? They just used to last forever. And it was just, wow, just the most magical time of your life. No, I mean, it was all right not to be in school, don't get me wrong. But you weren't laying around the house, Tom, I can tell you that much.
I had wring the dirt on the inside of my elbows. That's a resounding memory from my childhood. It was just dirty from being. You're just told to go do
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, pulling ragwaps.
And like I talk a good game, Tom, but I might have done it like in a summer. I might have done it 6 or 7 days out of a summer. Okay, like it wasn't like it was all day every day, like 6 or 7 days that you'd be called to do something.
Yeah.
But I remember them more than the 50 days you had off. That much I can tell you.
Well, it was either I mean, it was that or because we were where we were. It was all around here every second day. At least you were getting hauled off to
Right.
do something, and I think that's why I had this air of confidence with my American cousins because I was just talking with. There was no children around. I don't remember many
No,
children.
nobody around.
There
We
was
had a
just
couple of kids. We had a couple of kids up the road, and we go play football and all that kind of thing. But you couldn't do it the whole day long. You'd be chased.
there was just me talking to other people, but they just happened to be adults. So I listen. All I know is that I'm going to find when that kid hits about 8 or 9 in there, he's getting ragwort. I'm going to find
Oh yeah.
acres of ragwort just so he can get after it and give him no reason as to why he's pulling it. Just none. Just you're
Just
getting.
just do it.
I'll
It's a thing that
find,
needs to be done, and you are.
and he's not even getting €20. I'm going to find a £20 note somewhere just just to give it to him for nostalgia reasons. It's utterly useless, son, but this will stand you in the long run. So
There you go. Folks, we came into this segment here going like, let's just start talking about summer holidays and see where it takes us. It took us to child labor and nowhere else. All right.
we
So
didn't
maybe
even get
throughout the
beyond.
summer we might come back to summer holidays, but
We didn't
but
even
for
get
now,
beyond the age of 10, Jared. That was
no.
just flogging child labor until until about the age of
Until you
8.
wised up a little bit, a wee bit of rebel in you
Yeah,
said,
and you
I'm
went
not
you went
fucking doing
missing.
this anymore.
Yeah, you got up
Yeah.
early and you went fucking
Yeah.
missing. That's what you did. Yeah,
That's like, where is
jam
he?
sandwiches and
Gone.
you're gone.
But what have you got that top stat? Did you set quicks? Did you pick stones? Did you foot turf? Or were you one of those lazy, useless children? Let us know in the comments, don't you know? Work shy, lazy bastards. Oh, what you did piano lessons all summer? Good for you.
Good for you.
But there you go. That's what we want to talk about, and we're going to move swiftly on to the next segment, Tom, because something you just said there has sparked something in me for the next segment. So we're going to get straight on to the next segment, which is where we don't just talk about these lads, Tom, because every time there's these lads, there's them lads, there's those lads, but every so often you turn around and you have to say, "There's this lad."
Now there's that guy.
This lad, for good or for bad, we pick this lad. As you may have noticed through the past 11 episodes, it's just a moment where you go, this lad. Huh?
This lad'll do. Now,
This lad.
what triggered me there, Tom, was at the end of your wrap up of how you got out of summer work. Was you got up in the morning and you went missing?
Yeah.
It's like,
I think that I'm patting myself on the back for
well,
some sort
isn't
of
that a segue and a half?
subliminal segue that I just my mind laid for you there. Yeah, there you go. You're welcome. So this week's this lad is the infamous at this stage, Jay. What's his surname?
Jay Slater is
Yeah.
a young man. He is missing in Tenerife for 2 weeks, Tom. He was over there on his holidays with the lads. He is 19 years of age. And we want to say straight off the bat, we hope he's found
Yeah.
safe and well and goes back to his family and goes back to his, there's been a whole pile said about him and all this kind of thing. But I just look at the first line of a news story. It says 19-year-old apprentice bricklayer Jay Slater. And I'm like, well, you know what? I hope he's found and goes back and completes his apprenticeship and has a lifetime of building houses.
Yeah.
And good things. And nothing else you may or may not have heard about him.
Well, this is
But
it because
you can't move for this kid right now.
no, and this is it. We want to get that out of the way. This is a good crack podcast. So anything that
This is the Good Crack podcast.
anything that we don't dip our toe. You've heard our politics one, for Christ's sake.
We're
It's not
not
that we're
getting
trying
in.
to be uncontroversial. We just don't care to not have the crack. So anything personal about this lad? leave that to whoever else wants to deal with that. Where Gerry had a brilliant idea to go with this was into the frenzy on Facebook, because all I'm seeing on other apps is they're talking about the frenzy on Facebook.
They're talking.
It's interesting that it's the first time in a long time I've seen them going, yeah. They're talking about it on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and everything else. But have you seen Facebook? Which, by the way,
But have you seen Facebook?
is some of Facebook in itself, the only time it absolutely redeems itself, much like in Dumb and Dumber, where you absolutely redeem yourself, is when somebody makes a post of some sort, like some, well-known, maybe glamour celebrity makes a post, and there's 150 comments, one trying to outdo the other. Like, incredible. But this is where the comment.
It's outrageous. And what I want to say for Facebook here, Tom, I don't use it anymore.
No.
I don't think you use it anymore.
No.
Okay. But there are people who do use it anymore. They haven't gone to Instagram. They haven't gone to Twitter. And they get everything from Facebook. Everything's from Facebook. And it is like the McPoyles in It's Always Sunny. It's just like Facebook is just like redneck social media where
old ones love it too.
Goes.
Old ones
as well, who may not be the most computer literate.
Yeah.
Who don't know that when they type things, it can be seen. I'll give you an example of Facebook, because I do feel a lot of it is well-meaning. Okay.
Right.
For example, you'll see somebody, not gonna, profile or anything like that. Older ladies are known to do this. They'll share a post of, a dog missing. Oh, there's a dog missing, and she's missing, and can we please find this dog? And when you read the post, it's a dog missing from 8 years ago in Nova Scotia, right?
This woman's in Aberdeen. Yeah.
And this woman's in Aberdeen. And yeah, it's a lovely dog. And I hope that he was, but that's an 8-year-old post that you just saw, you didn't read, you click share.
Yeah.
And again, it was well-meaning. You wanted this dog to be found. But you applied no critical thinking to it.
No.
See what I'm saying?
No. Well, it's where it's
and that rolls on into Jay Slater missing in Tenerife.
Yeah. Where a lot of people, the sort of people who would have things like on their profile, maybe in times gone past, that said things like, not my snakes around this town with a Z.
Yeah.
Do you know, just me and the kids now.
Not here for a long time, here for
live, love, laugh.
Okay. And sort of speaking in slogans like that and all that kind of crack. Everybody's entitled to use social media. I'm not being snobby. To use it whatever house you see fit.
You are.
If you do believe that there are nothing but snakes around here, don't let me stop you broadcasting that to your 26 followers.
You or your little angles, when they're going back to school, actually, when they're little
Right.
isosceles triangle.
When you've nothing left to lose. All right. We're not ripping the piss here, but fuck me.
If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Snakes. Just me and the kids now.
To my eyes, right? Here's the thing, right? Okay, if someone goes missing, Tom, social media is a great place to find them now. And I'm not going to be, if I'm going to be serious here for a second. I've been party to the looking of people, the looking for of people. Like, not in direct line of fire, like not anybody directly belonging to me, thank God. Close enough where I would go, let me know what I can do and I'll share it. And do you want me to do anything and this kind of thing? And sometimes it's young people. And thankfully everybody turned up. I think there was a couple of instances where it was like, oh God, I just went out of the house and go away, don't deny me, and the bugger off to wherever for a day or two and not tell anybody. People that would be like of our age or would have been of our age at the time in the 30s. And I remember there was like a couple of instances where like an owl or some such wandered off and was found, thankfully, but he just was old and wandered off on a bus or whatnot. Facebook and social media is a wonderful tool for those things. I think I saw that man earlier today. I was talking to him yesterday.
He was pulling ragwort up at the top field.
He's pulling ragwort up at the top field. Asked me for a hand picking stones. I said, absolutely not. That was 10 years ago, Tom. What it is today seems to be just a cauldron of God knows what. And that's what we're going to talk about here when we're talking about this week's This Lad, Jay Slater. Hope he's found safe and well.
Let's hear some of the advice
Uh,
comments on the search party.
on the search party.
There's
Now,
a set page now, isn't there? There's a page in Everton. Find Jay Slater
Tom,
or
there
something.
could be 10 of them at this
Of
stage.
course there is.
Like,
of course there is.
There genuinely could be 10 of them because, this has gone beyond, let's find this person. This has become like a,
this is the Taylor Swift of missing people.
Yeah, this is like I spotted Elvis eating Mars bars with Tupac in the garden center.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you with some things that were written on the Find Jay Slater Facebook page. I have no answers to this, Tom. Okay, but I want your best guess as to whether you think this statement was offered in earnest by somebody who felt it was helpful.
Yeah.
Or in mischief by someone that was taking the piss. And I got to tell you, this is harder than you think.
All right.
Okay.
And also answers from people listening. We want to hear what you think.
Okay. Some of these are like, you that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and everybody in the room is dumber for having heard it, but your heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
Or you're acting the bollocks.
Yeah. Okay, hit me.
Okay, so this was a classic that went through. Maybe a silly question. But if Jay cut his leg on a cactus, is it possible he got stuck to it and is still on the mountain but attached to a cactus?
What kind of wily coyote shit is that? He got stuck to a fucking cactus.
Like, I mean, for this to work, if the logic of this works, Tom, what I think they're getting cactuses mixed up with Velcro.
And he like anti-spikes, like there's male and female.
And he had hoops and it had loops. It had hooks and he had loops, and he just like found, and he's like, oh crikey, I've got myself stuck to a cactus. I don't know where he's from.
I'm in a bloody mischief. So
do you think that person is, and for what it's worth, that comment came in the early doors of the Facebook group before all the devilment had come in.
Do we know, can you see a profile picture? Can you describe it to me?
I can't see it. No, I can't see that.
Because if it was like a sunset, I'd go, yeah, possibly, from a good place. But I can't, Gerry. I think that stuck on a cactus, perhaps he's still up in the mountain, stuck to a cactus. God, that could be.
Okay, we're gonna put that.
I'm gonna say no. I think somebody's
into
taking the piss. They have to be taking the piss.
We're gonna go taking the piss on that one.
Yeah.
I got a lot of these to get through here. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to hit you with another one here. Might sound silly, but has anyone attempted to leave goodie bags at the side of the roads, etc., in case he goes anywhere during the night that's been searched and needs food or water? You could leave a mobile and blankets just in case.
I actually think
so. What they're suggesting is you leave like little tote bags of Lucozade Sport and fully charged iPhones
dotted
lying
along
around
the
mountains of Tenerife.
Okay, yeah. Do you know what? The cadence with how you read that and how it seemed to roll, I think that's somebody being real. I genuinely do. There's not enough piss taken in it, like cactus getting stuck to a cactus. Do you know what I mean? But somebody's mental writing that. I genuinely think that's an absolute mentaler.
Do you know what? I'm not going to say mentaler. I'm going to say fully in earnest with heart, 100% in the right place.
Where the punctuation's in the right
stupid.
place. Where the punctuation's in the right place.
No, it looks okay. Yeah, it looks. Yeah, I mean, like sentence case, the bar. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's looking all right.
No, I just think
fairly decent.
I think that's dumb shit.
You think that's a dumb shit?
On to the next one. That's a dumb shit.
Yeah, okay. That's a dumb shit. Okay. I am a psychic medium of over 20 years. Not me personally.
Oh, God.
I wish to remain anonymous as I am not looking to gain fame or profit in any way from this case. However, I have been in contact with the spirit realm, especially in Tenerife. So, spirit realm recognizes international borders, it seems.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have been unable to make contact with any spirits with knowledge of Jay's whereabouts. This could be a good sign, as it suggests he is not in the spirit realm. Just thought I'd share.
Jesus Christ.
So
Yeah.
none of the ghosts that they've spoken to have seen Jay. So
Well,
this is like a slightly more unhelpful. Like nobody down here has seen him, but nobody in the spirit realm has seen him either.
yeah. Have you? No, I haven't seen the thing you're looking for. Where did you last see it? Jesus Christ! I didn't come down here to be fucking.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that's another dumb shit. That's. There's no humor in that.
I gotta be honest with you, Tom. We're not simpatico on this, because I think like anybody that claims to be a psychic medium of over 20 years wishing to remain anonymous, I'm like, no, you believe this.
Yeah,
You
that's what I
believe
mean.
this
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. That person has dyed black eyebrows for sure, and says things
Okay,
like,
but
"There's a
my
Deirdre in
my
the room."
contention is, yeah, but this isn't like, a 17-year-old lad sitting at home with like,
No,
I'm a psychic. No.
no. This is a woman that reads tea leaves, or a man that No, it might actually be a man, but he has dyed jet black hair, and for sure dyes his eyebrows. Maybe has a goatee dyed as well, and wears all black all the time.
I got one for you.
Go on.
Must be said, Jay Slater. We completely glossed over the case. I mean, as best as I understand, they said he was at an event.
Details,
That's piss up
schmetails.
in my.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows. Everybody.
And then all of a sudden he wasn't, and his phone's dead, and all this kind of crack. But someone says here, serious question. As it happened to me in Tenerife, and I was there for 12 hours. I don't know if that means I was in Tenerife for 12 hours, but I think it reads more like I was in this particular predicament for 12 hours.
Right.
Serious question. As it happened to me out in Tenerife, and I was in there for 12 hours. Is it possible he's nipped into a toilet and the lock on the cubicle door has jammed? Have the public toilets in the area been searched?
Yeah. Again.
I mean, like that there is like the simplest. And I'm going to go through another one, Tom. They don't get as simple as that.
But that's
Okay,
literally
that's like that.
my thing went missing one time, and I had pockets on my trousers. I searched all four of them, and on the fourth attempt, I found one. Have all your pockets been searched? Just asking.
But no, this
Like-
to me is more like, I can't find the remote. Are you sitting on it?
Yeah.
And like, no, I'm not. I know I'm not sitting on it. But have you checked? I don't need to. Well, why don't you? This is like it's like the Hangover. If they had a thought at the start, oh, we put him up on the roof. Spoiler alert for the Hangover, I suppose. They would have got him because that's where he was.
Oh,
Again, spoiler alert for the Hangover.
That's another real person.
I think this one's genuine.
Yeah, I think so too. Not the smartest person,
Like,
but fucking genuine.
No, not the smartest,
Jesus.
but their heart is in the right place. All right. Okay. Might be a long shot. Now, I want to tell you one thing, Tom. Now that I read these out a couple at a time, I'm noticing a pattern. They all start
Yeah.
with like, silly question.
Yeah.
Just gonna say this.
Don't want to be
Might be a
sticking my
long
nose
shot.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense, but yeah.
Not being silly. And
Yeah.
like, I think that's a little thread into. Yeah. I think that's a little thread into some of these being piss takes. Might be a long shot, but I've heard, and they spelled it A-V, heard. I've heard that sometimes.
Come on, Deirdre Barlow.
Might be a long shot, but I've heard that sometimes the missing person is in the search party. What if Jay is with people looking for himself because he doesn't really know what's happening? Sorry if it sounds silly, but it could be a possibility.
What do any of these people think is happening to their comments? Do they think that there's some police officer whose whole sole job is sitting on the back of a Jeep van out on the search party going, I have a new one. Let's try the cactus one. Like, where do they think they're actually going somewhere? Any of these things? Like, they couldn't possibly, do they? Or is the same as nothing but snakes around here? They haven't thought that far ahead. They're just putting
I
it out
reckon
there.
they haven't thought that far ahead, Tom.
Empty
But
their
like,
skull.
number one, all of these would have to be translated into Spanish for the Tenerife police.
Can I tell you one I heard? And I hope maybe it's on your list.
Please, yeah, what you got?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It was this one bloke wrote, as I understand it, Jay was into house music. Has anybody tried bringing some ghetto blasters via Bluetooth up into the mountains and playing his favorite tunes to see if you can draw him out? Fucking
I think,
like a weasel.
right? I think
Like he's gonna come out all timid and frightened, but suddenly just start.
just start vibing.
Finally,
And he just comes out chucking tunes. Um, I reckon that was someone with their heart, and I reckon that was someone who hasn't slept in a couple of days, Tom.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like they put together a thought process, and that's as far as they got. They didn't actually think of the outcome. I do think it's another real
Like,
person.
do you know what would have got me out of a hole? Do you know what would have walked me up the side of a mountain with two broken legs and severe dehydration?
Yeah, yeah, some decent house music. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you got another?
Sounds a bit stupid. There's another one. Again, they all start like that. Sounds a bit stupid. But has anyone tried shouting for him? Now that's a piss take.
That has to be. That has to be. Sounds a bit stupid.
That
Has
like
anybody tried shouting for him? That's somebody sitting around in the sitting room with the rest of their mates who've all sent in a bollocksy one for sure. Go on, what you say? What you say?
yeah, yeah. This is like trying to get on like that quiz call at 2 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning when you get home from the pub.
yeah, yeah,
I gotta tell you, sounds a bit stupid, but has anyone tried shouting for him? I like to think that's something that I would send in if I was cold hearted and I was being a bollocks about it.
yeah, 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 yeah. If I
I try
was,
I do my best not to go big with things, Tom. I'm just like maybe
that's
yeah,
perfect.
maybe he's tied
I
himself
would
to a
have rewritten
shoelaces.
that a few times. Actually, gone too long and then gone. No, it's too complicated, and then I would have just come back, and that's where I would have ended up. Has anybody tried shouting for him? Maybe you're
Tried,
saying J wrong. Maybe when you shout
but
J in
like
a Spanish accent, it's like J
that's someone
becomes
applying
silent.
like it's someone applying IT logic to it. Have you tried turning it off and turn it back on again? Well, why
Yeah,
don't you try that before you try anything else?
I saw
Shithead.
one woman. She typed in, and I think she might have been looking for a holiday. She wrote in, I have a Labrador who's a really good tracker. Wants to have a scent of
Right.
something. I'd be happy um to bring her over if you have an item of his clothing. Come on now, come on now, come on now. You're bringing a lab, yeah, because they don't have search dogs at all in Spain.
Again, this is like the real question we're trying to drill down in Tom is how fucking stupid are these people? Like, are they genuinely stupid? Are they trying to get themselves a free trip over to Tenerife? More on that in a couple of weeks' time, I'm certain. Like, what level of stupid are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with good-hearted, good-natured people, or are we dealing with dunces, or are we dealing with bollockses?
You could,
Here's
I would,
one that
yeah, go on,
this might be the last. I could do these all night here, but
go on.
we got a
You give
show to
one,
finish
and
up.
the one that made me laugh out loud, I'll tell you. Go on.
Genuine question.
Yep, of course it is.
They all start like that. Genuine question. But have they tried searching for his footprints yet? Just saw my young one watching Scooby Doo, and it seemed to work very efficiently on that. Also, any updates? Like,
Acting
there's
the
only one update, Margaret. There's only going to be one update. We found him, or we didn't.
That's it. No,
We're
Margaret's
not going
acting
to find a snag of clothing on a cactus, despite what
no,
was set up the way.
no, that's
But
acting the
like,
bollocks. I'm sorry, you bring Scooby Doo into anything, and you're acting the bollocks.
it, this one for me, Tom, like this one broke my brain because immediately I was like, of course they would have searched for footprints. And then I'm like, do they search for do they search for footprints? Am I basing this on like Billy tracking things in Predator? Like, what have I seen them track footprints in? Surely detectives track footprints. Maybe they don't track. Maybe Margaret's onto something. And I'm here like looking at this thing, and my brain just has ceased to work.
No, you're not allowed to allow your brain to not to break, Jerry. Over like you're allowing yourself to actually get into the mind of of a person who says things like that out loud. Please don't.
But like
That
this is what they do to you, Tom. This is what they do to you. When you stare long enough into an abyss, it starts to stare back at you. I really genuinely was there like, shit, yeah, maybe you could just follow like his
what with a fucking magnifying
his
glass and
well, like
Scooby up behind you.
he'd have big boots. He's an apprentice bricklayer, Tom. He'll have big steel toe caps on him. He'll be tromping around the place, leaving big heavy footprints everywhere.
My favorite one. My favorite one. And it was the comment in the reply to it. I can't find my phone to find it again, but it went. I won't go for bad, but this woman put up. She went, "Any updates? Any updates on the search party? Have they had the chopper out yet?" The comment. This bloke. I had mine out last night. That's what got me thrown off the search party. I enjoyed
Is
it.
he?
I enjoyed that so
That
much.
was that was that you know. I can't. I've been talking to you about this for 20 minutes and my brain is broken. I'm there like, yeah, they've got the chopper out. You silly person. And I'm like, but who fucking told me that Tenerife police have a chopper? Am I just assuming they have a chopper,
Fair
right?
enough, but it was your man's reply. I had my own chopper out
The
last
man's
night.
reply was great. I would caution against taking a helicopter out for the search party in case the downdraft from it blows away the footprints. It's using your brain on that one.
Might get him
Gotta
off
be
the
smart
cactus,
about this,
though.
Tom.
Might get him off the cactus. Silly
Might
thought.
scare away the
Silly thought. But you wouldn't hear the dance music over the chopper blades. So one's got.
no.
Yeah. Any updates?
We need a unified approach to this, Tom. So I gotta tell you, can't do all these ideas good and all as they are, Tom.
No.
Once again, the bottom line from the Tom and Jerry show is that we hope Jay Slater has returned to his family safe and well.
Yeah.
And a lot of people lose access to their Facebook. Tom, why don't you go ahead and wrap this show up for these fine people? I
I
think
may
that's
as
all we
well.
need to say this week.
I may as well. But sure, look, while we're at it, I got to draw down with you.
My attitude is, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
With me, what I do?
Because there's been, I wonder at times, I mean, you call yourself a culture, but there's times when I wonder, have you gone a little adjacent on me? Because we should be doing this live from Donegal. We should have done this over the weekend. If we were true to our heritage, we should have done this live from the Donegal rally with a pair of brown trader boots or whatever, dealer boots on, bootcut jeans, and a Scania jacket. You can have a Massey jacket on up at the Donegal rally.
Well, Tom,
Because I
number
know
one, number
What?
one,
you hate Donegal.
I'm not allowed into Donegal anymore.
What did you do to Donegal?
That's between me and Donegal.
That's
But
actually
no,
the most-
Tom, the Donegal rally is on this weekend gone by. Why don't you bring these fine folks up to speed with the Donegal rally, and then we will jib jab about it for 10 to 15 minutes and wrap this shit up.
What if it's the most. It's become nearly infamous at this stage. But I mean, there's rallies all over the country. You have the rally of the lakes in Killarney, which I got caught up in, and I enjoyed it actually. I got caught up in on the way to a gig we were doing in Glen Eagles, and you get all the lads, and they're just enjoying themselves driving around. But it seems to be a festival that has been created by the people themselves. Do you know that kind of way? And it's
Right.
adjacent to the actual rally. The actual rally is going on, but these lads are having their own crack. Lads and girls are having their own crack as a result. Now, you look on it, and maybe a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're out there in these 20-year-old Lexuses and you're breaking the wheels off them from going ba 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 ba. But I see it for what it is. They're absolutely embracing exactly what they are. They ain't going off to Australia and coming back with a Bondi Beach accent. They're not, shuttering
and
in
frosty
America.
tips in their hair.
They're not exactly, and they're not coming back on, hey, what's up with that guy? They're not. They're not moving to Dublin and dressing ironically like a well-pampered sailor and only drinking like craft beers. They're not. These lads are drinking their Coronas 3 at a time for one reason or another. I don't know why they like drinking Coronas, and they're standing around
Standing around 30-year-old Subarus.
30-year-old Subarus and pouring their wages into the things. But man, do they love it. They fucking love it.
Now, I've been party to several machine-based get-togethers in my time, Tom. So have you, okay?
Uh-huh.
And the reason why I said that we weren't going to do a live podcast up at the Donegal rally was, should be known, nobody asked us, Tom. And
It's
we
true.
thought about it after the fact. We'll do one next year if the money's right. Don't you worry about that.
I think it'd be well
Give us
worth it.
get us on the phone there, Donegal. The feud is over. All the while, we talked about summer there, if I wasn't picking stones, do you know what I was at, Tom? Vintage rallies, steam thrashing rallies.
Down for that, yeah.
You know, vintage tractors, old cars, steam thrashing in Minalty was a big highlight of a lot of summers. Ploughing matches as well, Tom, not for
Oh,
nothing.
God, yeah. God, yeah.
And, you know, a lot of motorcycle racing up Airway as well. Through time, there was a up Airway, Tom, not for nothing, there was a biker rally, which I never went to. I was always like, it never hit me at the right age. By the time I turned like 18 and might have had a head up for going to it,
What
it
was
had
Carrick across the Sturgis of the fucking the Northeast.
honestly, they did their best for a couple of years. They had a rally called, and I shit you not, Tom, they had the Shagahag rally.
Okay, there is no row here, people. There is no row here. McBride's heritage is well rooted.
Well, all I'm saying, Tom, right? All I'm saying is I breathed in enough turf smoke from the vintage rally, enough TVO from the old ploughing match and the old tractors, and heard enough. I'm done. I'm good. I don't need any more rallies. Thank you. I'm sorry. I know we've given out about Formula One before, and I'm like, just even the actual rallying of it, the racing of it, I've got the barest of heeds in it. And then you tell me, well, secondary to that, there is the Donegal Fringe Rally.
That's what it
The
is.
Donegal Fringe, the Culchie Fringe Festival for driving, where you can hear the pop stainless steel over here.
I think rather than it being a row, I want to
no, I'm not going back, Tom.
I want to rekindle this for you. I think we need to do this again, and it did for me when I was in Killarney a couple of weeks back when I was down there, and it's just the joy and silliness of it all. I mean, okay, maybe I'm looking at it from a different point of view. Some of these lads take it deadly seriously. If you put 40 to 60,000 euros into a car that's 40 years old, that would have maybe been bought for 150 quid when it was new, then maybe you need Jesus in your life. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think it's well worth. I don't think we'd even look on like a spect. I think much like a recovering addict of some sort, I think it would rekindle something in us if we were at something like that where we could absolutely integrate seamlessly back in among these lads.
I don't think, Tom.
Before you'd know it, you'd be looking.
I'll be 45 years next.
Stop!
It ain't going to be a seamless integration, buddy.
Some of their some of their
21 Jump Street. I'll be like, who's that 40-year-old man over there?
It's all right.
Who's the cop? Who's the cops over there?
They love vintage shit. We'd rock up. They'd be like, "Hey, I remember my dad talking about hanging around with a fella like that." That's I'm telling you, I have a funny feeling we would integrate perfectly back in with all these lads. Because you know what I mean? It's everything that you can't give out about people who want to put time, money, and crack into a piece of machinery that goes bap, 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 bap. Come on.
I love that they love it. How about that? I'll go that far with you. I love that they love it.
Well,
for anybody that's listening here that's never seen the Donegal rally, or indeed any up north rally, but it's the Donegal rally we're talking about right now. There's a scene in every single one of the Fast and Furious movies, the 11 or 12 of them. So now it's always a bit where Vin Diesel, Dom Toretto has to get information or meet somebody or throw down or some shit has to go down, where he'll go to a car rally and it'll cut to a scene and it's always like, the camera always comes in through the crowd and there's like girls in mini skirts, and you'll see their arses, and then they part, and then they come through, and it's like bow, 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 bow,
Yeah,
bow,
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
like dong, dong, and strobe lighting and chrome and flames going up into the sky and absolutely waxed to the nines. Sports cars worth $60,000. That's not the Donegal Rally, okay?
Okay, all right. The weather would never be as good as in California or Miami. Fair enough. And okay, we don't have the genetics in our humans around the country to en masse look like they do, handpicked, by the way, by a casting agency to stand around in Fast and the Furious.
The,
But
the
it's
Donegal Rally, and I love my people, Tom, but the Donegal Rally looks like the Wish.com version of that.
yeah, and that's why we should go, because I reckon it would be heartwarming to be in among it all again. I reckon it'd be absolutely heartwarming to just get in among it, be able to spit on the ground. Do you know what I mean? Stand there with a can, looking at things that we don't really know what they do, but there'd be a buzz in amongst it. I honestly think if the two of us were there, we'd be like pigs and shit. Like back when we have avoided ragwort picking, we've got a pocket full of sweets, and I reckon it'd be the bee's knees.
I would go to the Donegal Rally one time. Truth be known, an actual road race, a road rally, is one of the only rallies that I haven't been to.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
as I said before, I've been to vintage rallies, uh, political rallies, rallies for change, Tom, and also rallies for who could plow the straightest line. Um, I've never been to a road race rally, and
Have you
for a
not?
man from Ulster to say that, Tom, is
Yeah.
that's because up our way they love rallies, and I didn't know that there was all different types of rallies. You probably knew all this. You're like, oh, geez, he's off and one again. There's your pure speed rally, who can go the fastest around this course, right?
Yeah.
And then if I'm right, there's your navigation rally, which is who can get from here to here
Yes. In the best time.
in the shortest
Time.
time, not
Yeah,
time,
they're like,
shortest distance.
well, yes, sorry, yeah, yeah. And then you have your time
Okay,
trial
so it's like,
ones. Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and you're basically handed a car and a map, and you're like, okay, you need to get from point A to point B. Go as slow as you like, take all day, we don't care. But what you need to do is you need to study the roads and plot a course from A to B that's the shortest that it
Yes,
is.
and
And that's
that's
more
very much
maths
up.
than racing.
That's very much up your way. And I only actually, would you believe it? I didn't find out about that until I lived in Cavan, and a lad was doing it the whole time, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, "What? So you don't just floor the Christ thing from the get go?" He said, "No, no, 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 no. It's like orienteering." I'm fucking
It's
out.
yeah.
I'm
It's like
out.
orienteering in a car,
And
navigation rallying.
he was doing it in like a Land Rover or something. Like, what? I'd smoke you. And he said, "No, it's not about speed, Tom. It's about," I'm like, okay, I'm out. I want to see
And
people
I'll tell
do
you that.
things that make my knuckles break the desk off when I'm watching on YouTube. That's what I want to watch.
Well, no, this is the one, Tom. Okay, so those are those two rallying, but this is the third type of rallying, and the one that appeals to me the best: conservation rallying. Are you familiar? I'm not making this up. I couldn't.
It's a
So
fucking
you got your
conservation.
conventional speed rally,
Yeah.
you got your navigation rally, which is our orienteering in a car, and then you've got a conservation rally, which is how efficient you can drive from one point to the next.
Well,
So
that'd
we
be the
both start
Dakar as
off with a
well.
car,
That'd be like the Dakar rally
right?
going across. Yeah, okay, I get that's
Not
crazy.
necessarily Dakar, but not Dakar would have elements of this. That we are both given the exact same car with a full tank
Is this a
of
Top
petrol
Gear
to the
challenge?
gills,
Are we doing a Top Gear
right?
challenge? Is that what you're talking about?
No, this is a for reals rallies.
Okay.
And then you drive from point A to B wherever it is, and then the fuel is measured at the end, and whoever has used the least is the winner.
I'll be honest, Gerry, you've absolutely made rallying sound way more boring than it actually is. It doesn't have to involve.
That's the one that funny enough appeals to me, because I love holding the car in the with the economy needle buried up to the
I'm
right.
not talking about actually participating in the rally. We would be shit. And even I've driven fast cars, but we would be shit compared to these people. I'm talking about hanging
No,
around
I'm
for
not,
the crack.
Tom, I'm not taking part in any of this. I'm not taking part in any of this. I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of rallying that appeals to me. Nice and quiet, just driving in fourth gear, you know.
Well,
I
I
don't know,
saw
maybe just dropping
I,
another cog or two, going down hills to conserve
I
your
saw
fuel,
possibly one
nice and
thing,
sedate,
a,
eating
a clip
croissants.
a clip that was damn near Shakespearean in its exclamation from this woman. And I'll finish with my rant on this one. But it was like a Mark II escort came scooping over this hill as they do caught some air, and you could see the thing. It was going to, it had gone into a bit of a wobble. It was going to come off the road a bit. It was
Right.
like, and it was coming down the straight. It was like it was a bog, it was like a boggy terrain, and they were a good bit back from it. And she just went, "Ah, shit!" The car went sideways and came off the road and smashed in the. I couldn't believe they put two portaloos on the bend. What?
Yes.
And she actually went, "Ah, shit!" And the guy just cut these two portaloos in half like a fucking razor. Like, what a place to put these two things. But the fact that she shouted shit about 5 seconds beforehand was absolutely like, there's no way she knew he was coming off right at that spot. But it was also, I
I
mean,
wouldn't be sure of that, Tom. I mean, like if you're ever watching a good rally up the north and you see like a collection of people standing in a particular spot, they know a car's left there before. It's like, watch this.
yeah, I guess so. I guess so. But the fact that it was shit and they cut through portaloos, I mean, that would have been the type of. I was never a fan of Jackass, but that's the one I want to see. Is where they
That's
go,
what you see.
"Welcome to
Yeah.
Jackass. I'm Johnny Knoxville," and this is
Yeah.
toilet avoidance of the Donegal rally. No, sorry, Knoxville. Bye bye.
Yeah. This is oh shit, Cortina.
I haven't
So there
convinced
you
you. I
go,
can
Tom.
tell. I haven't convinced you. I
You
know, but
haven't convinced me with the Donegal rally yet. And
but if I
again,
pick
not
you
for
up,
nothing. And I
if
love
I pick
Donegal.
you up next year, and we put a couple of stickers on the car, and like a couple of owl boys, we just have
Okay, but
scooter.
nice ones. Nice ones. Just a sticker on the back that says two friends.
No, I'm talking about like Dewalt, talking about all the things we're into, like the different, we just put a couple of bits to let people know that we want to be part, but we don't, we're not experts. We
Yeah.
put Scooter on the radio because, that's our era. And we
Yeah,
dro-
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like,
Although he's
you
back.
know,
He's back
he
in
never
the
went
UK.
away.
Doesn't look any different. Whatever he has been gnawing on, he doesn't look any
That's
different.
everybody always said that Scooter bleached his hair. No, that's formaldehyde. He's pickled. He's set. No, he got set in the 90s. That's it.
I think if I picked you up, said, "Look, we have a picnic basket full of your favorite sandwiches. Come on, Yogi Bear, in you get," and did the driving, got up there, I think you'd have a good time. I think
We'd
you,
have a great time. Donegal's
yeah,
no mess of a drive, I'll tell you that much.
no,
God
it
damn.
is not.
But yeah, okay. Let's see what next year brings. Maybe we'll bring the Tom and Jerry show live from the Donegal rally next year. Stranger things have happened, but not much else is going to happen this week because we're going to wrap it up. If anybody is listening to the sound of our voices and would like to hear more of it, they can follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Tom and Jerry Show. We'll find you there. And I'm at Gerry McBride. He's at Tom_O'Mahony on either Twitter or Instagram, not on Facebook. We don't need that kind of
We
crazy.
couldn't handle the heat of those comments.
Oh, I gotta tell you. What else do we want them to do, Tom?
If it is your first time, of course, hit the bell, hit subscribe, whatever platform you're on. I think it's a bell for Spotify, which is the most. And then the second most is Apple Podcasts. So some people are kind of going, "I still have the old logo." Well, what you do is you unsubscribe and resubscribe, and you have I won't say new logo. It's been up for a while, but anyway, that's where you're at.
Yeah.
We had a couple of people come back that they were having absolutely no problems. It was only one person for some reason. They were on Afghanistan iTunes
Some
or
sort of a VPN kind of jobby.
something was happening. We can only apologize for that. Maybe unsubscribe, go search for it again. You'll see the blue, gold, and red logo, which is us, produced by the great Rob Steers. Hit subscribe to that. If you can give us the top markings, the top ratings, 5 stars or 5 thumbs up or whatever you can, it makes it more visible to more people. The more people listening, the more inclination we have to make more of these. But you're look at. Till then, Gerry.
I went in here, Tom, to check now and unsubscribe and subscribe again. I can't because the left hand of my screen is all froze. Gotta tell you. Gotta tell you. Some
Good
weeks
God.
worse than others.
I'm off to try and avoid as many cactuses as I can. Cacti, plural. There you go. You see, you never
There you
learn
go.
it with us.
I'm gonna go study footprints. Right, Tom. Thank you everybody for listening. See you next week.
Good luck.
Tom and Jerry Show is sponsored by findavenue.ie.
For over 10 years, findavenue.ie has been working in the Dublin area, helping thousands of companies with all their venue needs. From corporate parties to away days, training seminars, conferences, summer barbecues to Christmas parties. The lot.
As a pair of comedians who know what it's like when the wrong venue gets booked for the wrong occasion, we can assure you that findavenue.ie is the go-to service when you're looking for a venue for your upcoming event. Simply contact them at findavenue.ie and they'll do the rest, saving you precious time and hassle.
Best of all, findavenue.ie is absolutely free to use.
Get out of here.
I'm telling you now, with findavenue.ie, free means free. No hidden costs or sneaky charges, all backed up with an incredible team offering you great customer service throughout the whole process. If you need a venue for anything from corporate day out to a quiz night, a gala dinner, or even a virtual event, findavenue.ie is your one-stop shop for all.
Head over to findavenue.ie to see how they can help you with your next event.
Thanks again to this week's sponsor for the Tom and Jerry Show, findavenue.ie.